Welcome in. This is Chiefs Chase. My name is Mike Bassano, and thank you so much for joining me here on the Midweek Blitz.
Josh Allen. Allen pressured. Now lofts a pass. It's intercepted.
Hell yeah.
Intercepted on the near side. Up the near side. 45. Across the 50.
Come on, somebody.
He's at the 40 of the Bills. Slam down there.
Hell yeah. Come on, man. Gosh. That's so good, 2-7. That's so good, brother.
The Midweek Blitz is where we get you ready for everything Chiefs throughout the week, cover all the storylines, and dive into the upcoming game. Now, the Chiefs are heading to Carolina this weekend to take on the Panthers, coming off of their loss at Buffalo. We'll get into all of it because we have a lot to get to today, including the greatest tradition in the history of sports. It happened last weekend. We'll tell you what it is here in a few minutes. But first and foremost, I want to start this show with some positivity. You know, the Chiefs lost to the Buffalo Bills. Losses happen. We haven't been used to it. It hurt. I crashed out a little bit. I ate a full pizza Sunday night by myself. 100% true story, because I snapped a little bit at that loss. But you know what? I'm regrouping. I feel good. And the good news for Kansas City this week is we have a Wednesday full participant practice for Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu. Both of them are sorely missed and sorely needed. Now, I don't expect them to play this weekend. They were limited in Thursday practice. And frankly, when you're playing the Carolina Panthers, if you can't beat them with who you have, we got bigger problems. But we're very excited for this because future-wise, the re-addition of Isaiah Pacheco could be absolutely monstrous. Understand, Isaiah Pacheco has the ability to explode in a way that nobody on this team does, in a way that very few players in the NFL have ever been able to do. If you want to look at what the difference has been for the Kansas City Chiefs in 22 and 23, it was Isaiah Pacheco. That 2021 team had a lot of talent, but it didn't have a running game. And when things weren't working out for the Chiefs offense in the AFC Championship game, they couldn't get first downs. They couldn't get anything going. And then the Cincinnati Bengals won and went on to the Super Bowl. That's the thing you need pop for. If you don't have Isaiah Pacheco on this team, it's a very different offense. And that's taking nothing away from what Kareem Hunt has accomplished in Kansas City. I am proud as hell of Kareem Hunt. I am proud as hell of what he has been able to accomplish coming off of his couch mid-season. A couple weeks into the season, but still, what we're seeing and what we've watched Kareem Hunt do, nobody else has ever done before. Not that I can remember. If you put it in the comments if you got it. Has anyone in the history of the NFL ever come off their couch and been second in carries in the league since coming off of his couch and been as effective as Kareem Hunt has at keeping drives on schedule? He doesn't have the long playability, but he's kept drives on schedule. He doesn't get negative plays. He falls forward. He's a very valuable player to this team, and I want to take nothing away from what Kareem Hunt has accomplished because it is incredibly impressive. Now, that said, Isaiah Pacheco has an explosiveness, and the Chiefs have a need for explosiveness, and Isaiah Pacheco brings that in spades. This is a guy that can break off runs of huge chunks at any given time. Kareem Hunt, as much as we love him, has not yet broken a 20-yard run. Isaiah Pacheco can do that all day. He breaks off a 35-yard run. He gets big chunk plays on the ground, and that's something the Chiefs haven't had since he got injured. Getting Isaiah Pacheco back in the next few weeks is going to mean everything for this offense. It'll open up things for Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes struggled in 21. You remember in 22 when Pacheco came on and he runs like he hates grass? Remember that? Yeah, that was an MVP year for Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason why Isaiah Pacheco is so widely regarded on this team as such a dynamic weapon. There's a reason why when Isaiah Pacheco went down, we all collectively panicked. We didn't know Kareem Hunt would be this good, but we all collectively panicked because Isaiah Pacheco is an explosive player who adds a totally different dynamic to this team. And when he gets healthy, which is going to be very soon, the Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to explode. This thing is getting healthier, faster than anyone could have possibly anticipated. And Isaiah Pacheco, when he comes back through that door and number 10's on that field, he's going to run roughshod over people. That is a guy that has explosiveness. He has tenacity. And we've known for a long time what Isaiah Pacheco brings to the table. It is incredible. I love watching what Isaiah Pacheco can do with the football. He has the explosiveness that this running game for the Chiefs is currently lacking. And when he comes back, it is going to set the league on fire. Get him, Pop. Isaiah Pacheco, when he comes back, oh, baby, it is coming. It is fast. And I'm telling you, this offense is going to look entirely different. Buckle up, baby. It is going to be a fun ride when Isaiah Pacheco comes back. And the fact that he had a full practice on Wednesday, limited on Thursday, probably won't play against the Panthers, but the following week, Black Friday, Raiders, it would be a really nice time. I don't know. We don't know yet, but it would be a really nice time to have Isaiah Pacheco back on this football team in games. Now, a major reason for the last 2 Super Bowls was Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, we've touched on that a little bit with the 2021 season and how everything changed in 22. But if you look at why the Chiefs got over the hump, because the Chiefs were still a great team without Isaiah Pacheco, but they weren't a Super Bowl winning team. Pacheco's had 2 years in Kansas City, 2 years in the NFL, and he has 2 Super Bowl rings. This guy has helped propel the Chiefs offense in so many different ways. When he comes back, man, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit for what Isaiah Pacheco can accomplish and what this Chiefs offense can accomplish with him. I cannot wait to see Pacheco. We're giving Kareem Hunt his flowers as well. I love these guys, and I think they're going to, the 1-2 punch, like think about that. Because when Isaiah Pacheco comes back, it's not like Kareem Hunt goes away. So you get to have both of these guys. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, a 1-2 punch where if Pacheco's getting tired, you don't have to worry too much because Kareem Hunt can come in and pick up the slack. That's a beautiful situation for the Chiefs. And Pacheco, with that explosive ability, and Hunt with his punishing running style, that's a 1-2 punch nobody's going to want to go against. And then you add in the Chiefs passing game, Hollywood Brown coming back. The future is so bright for the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you consider that they're 9-1, I mean, this is the most unbelievable thing in the world to me that nobody's talking about. People want to discount Patrick Mahomes. They want to discount the Kansas City Chiefs. They want to talk about win margins. This is a football team that lost their number 1 wide receiver and their number 1 running back, and yet still went 9-0. They're now sitting at 9-1 atop the AFC. No matter what anybody in Buffalo tells you, the Chiefs are still the number 1 team in the AFC, and they're getting Hollywood Brown back. They're getting Isaiah Pacheco back. It's going to be a completely different football team, and trust me, it is going to crush everything in its path. Now, one Chiefs player is getting an absurd lack of gratitude right now. Just an absurd lack of gratitude. We'll tell you what that is here, or who that is rather, in just a few minutes. But first, we have to pay homage to the greatest sports tradition in history, in my opinion. The 1972 Dolphins have toasted champagne because the Chiefs lost, and they are still now the only undefeated team in the history of the NFL in the Super Bowl era. And my goodness, good for them. I love that pettiness. Like, I love petty. Classy's not for undefeated teams. When you're undefeated, you don't have to be classy. When you're undefeated, when you finish it, you can do whatever you want. And people don't like this tradition. They think it's classless. They think it's arrogant. Good. Be classless. Be arrogant. Listen, the 1972 Dolphins played during an era where you had to have CTE just as a prerequisite. All right. Their knees were cottage cheese by the time they were 28 because clipping was not only legal, it was weirdly encouraged. I've watched that Super Bowl IV video with Hank Stram enough times and seen all the clipping that happened in that game that I'm like, my God, how did anyone in the NFL survive? How did any of them walk after the age of 30? These guys would just be sitting there. Someone comes in the back of their knee and just boom. I mean, these are hits that would not only take other players out now, they would be suspended. I mean, and they were legal back then. That's so wild. 1972, the Dolphins won a championship with plays and players that would all be illegal today. So you got to give them credit. Let them have their champagne. In fact, I want to adopt their little toast. I think we should do it. Every week we should toast champagne because the Kansas City Chiefs, they're reigning champions. Look, guys, we're in the middle of a dynasty right now in Kansas City. This doesn't last forever. Ask Patriots fans. Suddenly, Patrick Mahomes is gone, Mac Jones is your quarterback, and everything goes to hell. It happens faster than you think, so we have to enjoy every single minute of this, every single second that we get to be on top. So, I am toasting champagne. As cheesy as it might be, I don't care. I am toasting champagne every week that the Kansas City Chiefs are reigning champions. And I encourage you to do the same with me, because I'll tell you one thing. This is the most fun I've ever had getting to watch football. Growing up in Kansas City with, I think DeBerg was quarterback when I was a kid. Maybe Dave Craig. I don't remember exactly. Joe Montana was the first quarterback that I really remember. And those were good times, but I was like very, very tiny. Then came Steve Bono. Then came Elvis Gerbach. And somehow it just kept getting worse from there. Trent Green gave us a little reprieve for like 5 years. And then after that, it was tough. It was just tough, man. Matt Castle, Brody Croyle, Tyler Palko, Tyler Thigpen. I thought Tyler Thigpen was going to be a really good quarterback. I was such a big Tyler Thigpen believer. I've never been more wrong in my life. So with that being our history and what we've been through as Chiefs fans, all the way through 2012 before Andy Reid got here, and then the Chiefs were relevant. They were right there with Alex Smith, and we love Alex Smith. He made the Kansas City Chiefs a viable football team again. That's a fact. Alex Smith might not have been a world beater, but he was a very good quarterback. The Chiefs just needed an elite quarterback to take them into the stratosphere. That was the number one thing. An elite quarterback, take him into the stratosphere. Patrick Mahomes. Suddenly, Andy Reid, who had struggled to have any success at the highest level, he had been to only one Super Bowl in his illustrious career, and then he got Patrick Mahomes. Since then, he's been to 4 Super Bowls. He has won 3 Super Bowls, and he is eyeing his 4th as the Chiefs still remain the number 1 team in the AFC. I think it's important to remind people of that because it seems like some of the Dolphins fans are forgetting. No, I'll move on from this now, but I'm telling you, the reason I wanted to bring this up, we're in the good old days. We are. We're living the good old days. It's pretty sweet. So even though a loss at Buffalo hurts, and it does, it hurts, I'm not going to lie. Even though a loss at Buffalo hurts, we should still appreciate every single second that we get with this Kansas City Chiefs dynasty. And toast champagne with me every week if you'd like to. Or maybe, something more accessible because I did have to go buy champagne to do that. But either way, these are the good old days. So let's enjoy them. Now, there's something very interesting that I've noticed around the NFL when the Chiefs lose, and it seems to only happen when the Chiefs lose. We'll tell you what that is here in a few minutes. But first, one Chiefs player is getting an absurd lack of gratitude right now, and it's driving me up a wall, and that man is Patrick Mahomes. What in the world? Suddenly, the Chiefs lose a game, and I'm seeing nothing but Patrick Mahomes slander. My goodness. Mahomes is getting such a lack of gratitude, and I feel like I'm living in crazy town. The man has lost his number 1 running back. He's lost his number 1 wide receiver. He hasn't had them for the vast majority of this season. Hollywood Brown, the wide receiver 1, hasn't been with the Chiefs all season. He got hurt in preseason. So we live in a world where Patrick Mahomes has put this team on his back, put this offense on his back, and tried everything he can do to elevate this team and make them better. Yet still, every single chance teams get, every single chance fans get, they want to criticize Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs have been dealt the injury bug, and nobody gives them credit for it because Patrick Mahomes is so good that they don't even think about the fact that Pacheco's out, that Brown is out. They don't even think about the number 1 wide receiver and the number 1 running back going down. Look at the Houston Texans. Everybody loves the Houston Texans. Take away Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's been incredible this year. Take him away. Completely different football team. Take their number 1 wide receiver away. Is it Nico Collins now? Completely different football team. That is the difference. And yet Patrick Mahomes has found ways to win, found ways to be great in big moments while allowing the defense to do their thing all the way to a 9-1 record. And we want to criticize Patrick Mahomes? Get out of here. It's ridiculous. Don't criticize a guy who's carried your football team consistently through injuries, through poor performances from weapons that are healthy, and through bad coaching at Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes has carried this team through all of that. So any kind of Mahomes slander that I hear will not be tolerated. It will be responded to in kind, because the fact of the matter is this team isn't anywhere near 9-1 without Patrick Mahomes. This weird idea that the Chiefs with a different quarterback would be better, it's the dumbest thing on the internet. And there's a lot of dumb things on the internet, guys. Have you seen it? Have you looked around? It's awful. Yet Patrick Mahomes being called out as overrated or even washed? You know how many Mahomes or washed comments you see? It's ridiculous. It's like a bunch of people who have never watched football before just decided, yeah, well, I'm going to read some troll blog and then just take all my opinions from there. It feels like that. It really does. Because Patrick Mahomes slander is running wild. When you have a game at Buffalo where the only players that actually show up for you are Noah Gray and Xavier Worthy, and the fact that Mahomes had the Chiefs in a situation where if they stop Josh Allen on 4th and 2, all they have to do is get in field goal range to win, that's incredible by Patrick Mahomes. That nobody talks about the fact that Xavier Worthy and Noah Gray were the only two guys who showed up to work that day other than Patrick. And Patrick still threw 3 touchdowns, 2 to Noah, 1 to Xavier. That's insanity. That's insanity. I know we watch a lot of the Chiefs, so we sometimes get really bogged down in the minutia, but look around the league. People don't have a rookie slot receiver and a second tight end carrying their team against a legitimate top contender in the AFC. Nobody has it except the Kansas City Chiefs. So what Patrick Mahomes has accomplished is so incredibly important. And the idea that he's been so denigrated by other fans, by other media, by people around the NFL, it's so sad and it's so pathetic by them. It makes me feel as if people were always waiting for this. People were always waiting for Patrick Mahomes to slip up just a little bit because they hate greatness. That's the absolute truth of the matter. People hate greatness. They hate seeing Patrick Mahomes be incredible, have everything that they wish they could have, and still be a consummate professional and an incredible leader, and carry the Chiefs to a 9-1 record, losing his first running back, losing his first wide receiver. Nobody gives him credit for those injuries because everyone discounts how amazing Patrick Mahomes is. He makes all of it look so easy that you forget that he's working with a bunch of guys that weren't supposed to be the number 1 guys this year. So Patrick Mahomes, the amount of slander I've seen about him this week is frankly just ridiculous, and people should just stop doing it. And by the way, Xavier Worthy, I love what he's doing. Big Xavier Worthy guy. In fact, Matt Nagy, Chiefs offensive coordinator, spoke to the media this week, and courtesy of Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City, here he is discussing Xavier Worthy and the one off play he had where he couldn't get that second foot down.
He's different speed. So, like, if you throw that to a slower guy, maybe he doesn't get to it, or if that guy is complete, like if he was completely covered on that throw, it would have been probably an amazing throw, So it's, but it wasn't. He was wide open and it became an incompletion. So now Patrick always starts with himself. Like, could I got the ball out earlier? Xavier starts with himself. Should I have had more awareness to try to toe tap and catch that ball? We start with ourselves. Are we doing it the right, setting up the play the right way? So they know that. It's a part of the deal. It's a game of inches, and that certainly was a part of that. But we want to get those. We need to get those big chunks.
Matt Nagy is really good with the media, just spreading things out, because when something like that happens, you have to protect your rookie. He's a rookie. He's thrown into a situation he never should have been thrown in the first place. Xavier Worthy is a rookie. He never should have been put in a situation where he was the only guy that was a legitimate target for Patrick Mahomes outside of Noah Gray. You can't have Xavier Worthy and Noah Gray be the focal point of your offense and expect to beat a playoff team. You could probably beat the Panthers with Noah Gray and Xavier Worthy as your 1 and 2 options on the offense. But if you're going to go up to Buffalo with those two guys being the focal point, you're just asking a lot of Patrick Mahomes. And I think it's unfair. I think most people believe it's unfair. I get really frustrated with the Mahomes slander because if you actually watch these games, like that final drive, let's go to the final drive of the Buffalo game. I want to move on from it, and we'll get to this very interesting thing I've noticed when the Chiefs lose here in just a second. But I want to go to the final scoring drive for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense. The one where he scrambled around, bought time because he had nobody open, found a way to get to the corner, bought enough time to where he could get the ball to Noah Gray in the back corner on a brilliant throw that 6 years ago would have made everyone's jaws drop. But nobody's jaws dropping in 2024 because Patrick Mahomes has been so good that you come to expect this level of greatness. You come to expect Patrick Mahomes to be an incredible player. So when he does something incredible, like that final scoring drive where he had to put on the Superman cape and be amazing just to get into the end zone, you go, oh, that's pretty good. Because you're so used to Mahomes being incredible that it's become numbing. It's numbing to people. To see Mahomes be incredible, they just expect it. And that's why I absolutely hate the Mahomes slander and the lack of gratitude I'm seeing, not just from other fan bases, by the way, from Chiefs fans too, about number 15 in Kansas City and everything that he's brought to this team. Because I cannot stand for the life of me people who forget where they were. Where were you before Patrick Mahomes? Getting your ass kicked in the playoffs. I was there as a fan, as a media member too. I was there all the time. 2016 season looked great. Got into the playoffs. Steelers couldn't score a touchdown against the Steelers. Lost to, frankly, a mediocre Steelers team in 2016 playoffs. So that would have been January 2017. And it happened all the time, guys. That's why they went and that's why after that game, after scoring, I think they only scored 12 points in that game against the Steelers. Then the Chiefs went, traded up, and got Patrick Mahomes. So remember where you were before Patrick, and then appreciate where you are because of Patrick. I will not stand for any of this. Oh, Pat's having an off year. Give him Hollywood Brown and Isaiah Pacheco and tell me what his numbers are. Having an off year. Throwing to Noah Gray and Xavier Worthy as your number 1 and 2 in Buffalo. It's ridiculous. All right, moving on. Something very interesting I noticed when the Chiefs lose. We'll get to that. Also, one Chiefs player, this is a big positive. One guy is finally getting the national recognition that he deserves, and I think Chiefs fans have known how good this guy is for a long time. We'll get to him here in just a moment, but first, something very interesting I've noticed when the Chiefs lose. Have you ever noticed this? Have you seen what I see? When the Chiefs lose, the NFL isn't rigged anymore. It's so weird. Every time the Chiefs win, everybody's telling me about how the NFL's rigged. They like Patrick Mahomes to be the face of the league. They think Taylor Swift is good for the league, so they're pushing the Chiefs. They want Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl and for Travis Kelce to get on one knee and propose to her on the field after the Chiefs win. It's all rigged, man. Until the Chiefs lose. Then suddenly it's not rigged anymore. Suddenly, the NFL's very legitimate. You've never even heard of the word rigged. When the Chiefs win, it's the WWE. When the Chiefs lose, it's legitimate. It's a very interesting trend I've learned around the NFL this week, that the NFL is only rigged when the Chiefs win. If the Chiefs lose, well, then football's just never had more integrity in its entire existence. What a joke. What an absolute joke. These guys are so stupid. This game isn't rigged. It's never been rigged. The NFL isn't rigged. Like anybody who tells you that or tells you the Chiefs are getting favorable treatment by the referees, they're just salty. Don't listen to these salty people, these angry, sad people that are just deciding the game is rigged because it didn't go the way they wanted to. It would be like me sitting here and telling you, oh, well, the NFL, they wanted to pass the torch from Patrick Mahomes to Josh Allen. No, they didn't. The Chiefs drew up a crappy play on 4th and 2. Josh Allen got loose for a touchdown, and the Chiefs lost. That's what happened. Now, would I say maybe the Chiefs drew up a crappy play on 4th and 2 because they thought getting a loss in Buffalo might not be the worst thing in the world? I asked the question. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think anyone other than the Chiefs coaches know the answer to that question. And I guarantee you that if the answer is yes, they will never tell us. So that's just one to throw into the void. We'll never know the truth about that. But what I can tell you is the NFL did not rig the Chiefs-Bills game because I'm not an ignoramus. I'm not like 31 other fan bases in the NFL deciding that every game is rigged, or the pick play that set up Josh Allen's only touchdown. Didn't make a big stink about that. I touched on it in the postgame, but I didn't really make a big deal of it because, hey, calls get missed, man. And that, by the way, it would have been a ticky-tack flag. It really would have. Watching that play over again, it would have been a ticky-tack flag. Technically, was it pass interference? Yes. But, Najee Johnson's got to get it past that, man. You have to know when you're in the red zone and a guy's coming across, there's usually going to be another guy coming. And the guy did not deviate from his route. He didn't launch into Johnson. He just got in the way. Frankly, you could have thrown the flag, but it seemed to me to be just on the side of... I'll put it this way. If that play happens and the Chiefs get a flag, I would call it ticky-tack. 100%. Like if you flip the sides, like let's say Xavier Worthy's coming across and then Noah Gray, since they're the only two guys that showed up against Buffalo, since Xavier Worthy's coming across, Noah Gray, he gets in the way. He didn't stop. He didn't deviate from his route. He didn't lower his shoulder. He just got in the way. It would have been a ticky-tack flag. Technically, you could have thrown it, but it would have been a ticky-tack flag. That's called accepting the reality that maybe your cornerback should stop getting beat so badly. We'll get that in a minute too. We got a lot to get to, but I do find it's pretty great. It's pretty great when the clowns say that they think the NFL is rigged. It's the WWE, man. Don't you understand? It's like pro wrestling. Patrick Mahomes pretends to have a bum ankle. No, Patrick Mahomes does have a bum ankle. But when the Buffalo Bills win, it's not rigged anymore. They're like, the Bills won the regular season championship. We did it. We won our Super Bowl. Devon, get the tables. That's Bill fans this weekend. Oh, that's such a good reference if you got it to Attitude Era, not WWE. But Bubba Ray Dudley, baby, the Dudley boys. But that's how the NFL fans are acting, man. They're like, oh, now it's perfectly fine. When the Chiefs win, it's rigged. No. Bills Mafia. I'll say this. Do remember this, because I've gotten this from Bills fans a lot this week. Bills fans have been telling me that Bills are now the team to beat in the AFC. They're the new kings of the AFC, which is just big talk for a team that's never won a Super Bowl. It's just huge talk for a team that's never gotten to the top of the mountain. Wide right? Do we need to keep going over things, Buffalo? The Buffalo Bills and Bills Mafia are the 1990s Chicago Bulls when it comes to celebrating regular season wins as if they're championships. So congratulations, Bills Mafia. Get the tables. Enjoy your moment in the sun. But remember, there's a lot of football left, baby. Now the Chiefs have one major thing that they're lacking right now. Maybe two. We'll get to them here in just a minute. But first, one Chiefs player is finally getting the recognition he deserves in the NFL. And we've known about him for a while. I think Collinsworth and Romo have been pretty good about giving him the credit, but he's been a little under the radar in a lot of places. However, Trent McDuffie is finally starting to get the recognition that I've always believed he truly deserves. He's an unbelievable football player, and he's taken over that cornerback one position from L'Jarius Sneed in beautiful fashion. Just an unbelievable game against the Buffalo Bills. Taking a look at the stats, people across the NFL talking about him. Trent McDuffie had 43 coverage snaps. 3 targets came his way, and he allowed a grand total of 1 yard. 1 yard allowed by Trent McDuffie. That is Pro Bowl, all-pro status. And McDuffie's been that guy. But I don't think he's gotten the recognition that he deserves, because you look at Trent McDuffie, you got to start putting McDuffie in the conversation with guys like Darrelle Revis. Guys throughout history who were islands. You could put them on anybody and they would just shut it down. Put them on a side of the field and just forget about them. Dependent on your scheme, Trent McDuffie can be the most dynamic player in the NFL. I love what he brings to the table on every single level, and his ability to blitz and get in the backfield, his ability to tackle in the open field, and especially his ability to cover guys one-on-one. Trent McDuffie, I think, is better than any cornerback right now in the NFL. I would take Trent McDuffie over anyone in the entire league at this moment, because I don't think there is a soul in the league playing better than Trent McDuffie. People are starting to notice it. And this is why I think Pro Football Focus is a very important thing in football right now, and a very important thing in the NFL, because you have guys that don't get as much recognition because they might not be getting the interceptions that they need, right? But they get the recognition for being lockdown coverage corners. And that's what Trent McDuffie is. He's getting the recognition he deserves, and I still feel like he should be getting more. I think it's still a bit overdue. I think he should be a much more talked about player and a much bigger star in the NFL that he is. And you know who I put it on that he's not? The NFL. I mean, the media. And the fact is, when you have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, guys who are shoe-in first ballot Hall of Famers, yeah, other great players aren't going to be talked about as much. But I think Trent McDuffie has elevated himself to the point where he should be right there, right in the same conversation as Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and all the other guys that you know are going to the Hall of Fame. Is McDuffie a shoe-in Hall of Famer right now? No, but he's very much on his way. Very much. I mean, think about how young he is and how much he's accomplished already. The chances that Trent McDuffie could become a Hall of Famer, a first ballot Hall of Famer, they're skyrocketing every week. Every week that Trent McDuffie remains a shutdown, lockdown, badass corner is every week that his legacy gets stronger and his Hall of Fame resume gets stronger. He's well on his way to the Hall of Fame. I'm telling you, that man has Revis Island written all over him in my mind, and we will see a Trent McDuffie explosion for the rest of this year. I cannot wait to see how much better Trent McDuffie gets and to celebrate the amazing ascending that we're seeing from him this season with L'Jarius Sneed's absence. That said, the defense as a whole could use him. We know that. Jalen Watson going down was very much a problem. It was very much a problem. We need more help. I was thinking about today, like, where is Darrelle Revis? So you knock it off. Where's Deion Sanders? Want to take a break from coaching, man? Come on, shave the beard. Come as Leon Sandcastle? Wasn't that what it was that they did that bit on ESPN? Come as Leon Sandcastle. Come play for the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. What's Eric Warfield up to? Does anyone know where Eric Warfield is right now? Is he hanging out? Warfield's a little bit better than what we got now. Don't get me started. I like Eric Warfield. I'll do it all day. What about James Hasty? Has anyone heard from James Hasty lately? What's he doing? I'm sure James Hasty could be good for a few plays. Let's go, baby. I'm just trying to find solutions, man. No, the problem is at cornerback right now, there's not a lot of them. There's just not a lot of solutions. That's why I'm sort of just having fun with it, because there's not a lot you can do. You have to hope for Najee Johnson, hope for a few other guys too. Just there's a lot of really good young talent. They're just not ready. Hell, Jalen Watson wasn't ready. We were just expecting him to somewhat grow into the position, and really he was. I remember the first game against the Ravens, he showed flashes, and I'm like, okay, we got a player. We got a player in Jalen Watson. Let's go. So his injury, I think, was much more devastating than it's been given credit for. I think some people in the know, more Kansas City media, I think I saw Seren Petro talking about it when it happened. Like, certain people understood from the very beginning that Jalen Watson's absence was going to be absolutely devastating. I don't think even those people were quite sure it would be this devastating. Because when guys get loose, it's never on McDuffie. All right, now, some fans, including Chiefs fans, are guilty of some slander. We've talked about this a little bit, but we still need to get into it deeper. We'll get to that here in just a minute. First, though, the Chiefs have one major thing that they're lacking right now, and it is killing the Kansas City Chiefs and making life very hard on their defensive backs, and that is the lack of pass rush. The Chiefs right now are bottom 5 in the NFL in sacks with 19 on the season. That is very disheartening, because this is a team that I thought, most years the Chiefs have been very good at getting to the quarterback under Steve Spagnuolo. They've been very good, even whether it's through blitzing or whatever. They find a way to get to the quarterback, and even when they don't, they disrupt him. And against the Buffalo Bills, we didn't see that. We saw Josh Allen spending all day in the pocket, and I'm sitting there watching the game going, get to him. What are we doing? You got to get to him. So the pass rush of the Kansas City Chiefs is not good right now. And here's Chris Jones and his press conference, courtesy of Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City, talking about the lack of pass rush with Seren Petro.
Why you guys haven't been able to, get the quarterback on the ground?
We'll get better, man. Something we can build on. Something we can do collectively as a whole. But we got 7 more games in the year, right? And it's a lot of football left to be played. So we're not counting numbers right now. We'll see where we at the end of the year.
That courtesy of Sports Radio 810 WHB. And the thing that's crazy about Chris Jones and this defensive line is they are lacking this. They're lacking the son of a bitch. You know? That's what it is. Like the Frank Clark. Remember when Frank Clark was in Kansas City and you just knew they had an edge? And yeah, maybe that edge might be good for a 15-yard penalty here and there, but that's how it goes. And that's how it's been with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is always jawing at the other team. He's starting stuff, and people might not like it. They don't like that stuff. Okay, well, you can have a tight end who's a really nice guy. Have a George Kittle. He has 0 Super Bowl rings. That passion, that tenacity, that anger, that fire that you have deep in your loins that we see from a guy like Travis Kelce and a guy like Frank Clark, that's that dog in you. And the Chiefs defense right now, I don't know who the dog is. I'm looking for him every single week. I don't know. Leo Chenal shows flashes of it. I think George Karlaftis shows flashes of it. Trent McDuffie, Chris Jones. There's flashes across the board, but who is that Frank Clark dog that's going to put fear into the other team because he might actually be crazy? We need that guy in Kansas City, and I don't think we have him right now. We need someone to step up and take that dog role, and that's what's going to take the Chiefs defense to the next level. Now, Charles Omenihu coming back, it will be a help, and the Chiefs need him to be a big help. This pass rush situation, being bottom 5 in the NFL at 19 sacks, it cannot happen if you want to have an elite level defense. And the Chiefs, most of the time, have had great pass rushers. They've had a great blitz package. I think right now, missing L'Jarius Sneed a little bit. Frankly, I mean, that's really what it is. You're missing L'Jarius Sneed on that defense. His blitzes with Spags, they were cheat codes. They were absolute cheat codes. You would take L'Jarius Sneed, send him on a blitz, and he would get home every single time, man. L'Jarius Sneed was an unbelievable blitzer. So the Chiefs are missing Sneed a little bit. Hopefully when Omenihu comes back, it'll be that big help. Now, coming up, we have a prediction for the Chiefs and Panthers. I give a legitimate prediction this time. We'll explain that here in just a few minutes. But first, some fans, including Chiefs fans, are guilty of slander. And what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people are acting like the Chiefs are 5-5. They're not. They're a legitimate big-time team, and they're the number 1 team in the AFC. That's something people aren't understanding. They aren't seeing the fact that the Chiefs, the number 1 team in the AFC, absolutely are as good as their record. I don't want to hear about how close everything is because you're not seeing the big picture. The Chiefs, every week, are targeted. They are the Super Bowl for every team. Just look at Bills Mafia. This is their Christmas. All week long, Bills fans have been saying, we run the AFC now. We're the kings of the AFC now. That's how important it is for opposing teams to beat the Chiefs, and that's why they put so much into every week game planning for the Chiefs. The Carolina Panthers have had 2 weeks to game plan for the Chiefs, and they're treating it like their Super Bowl. And do you know why? Because beating the Chiefs equals job security. Antonio Pierce is only the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders right now because he beat the Chiefs on Christmas Day last year. It's the only reason. Had he lost to the Chiefs, had they gotten blown out in Arrowhead, no chance Antonio Pierce is still the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. But because he beat the Chiefs, he got the interim tag taken off and he became the head coach. That's how big it is for every other franchise to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So when you put that factor in, the Chiefs are back-to-back champions. Everybody's got a big target on their back. Taylor Swift is at the game. Everybody's talking about the team. It's huge for these teams to game plan for the Chiefs. And that makes just winning 9 games in a row to start the year an incredible feat by the Kansas City Chiefs. And now they sit at 9-1, still number 1 in the AFC. And all these other fan bases are just sad about it. They're scared that their team's not going to be good enough in January. Even the Bills fans calling themselves the kings of the AFC, which is nasty work for a second place team. The kings of the AFC, they're still terrified that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do what they always do to the Bills in January. They've beaten the Bills 3 times in 3 chances with Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and I don't see that changing for 1 second. The Bills fans, every other fan base, they've had their Christmas this week. They've enjoyed every second of it. And you know what? Good for you. Good for you. Enjoy it. have a nice time. Enjoy dancing around and talking about how the Chiefs are frauds, because at the end of the day, when the Super Bowl comes around and the Chiefs are hoisting their third Lombardi in a row, the memories of this time are going to keep you warm at night. And I think that's really, really, really important for you. But the one thing that's really getting me is I'm seeing a lot of Chiefs fans kind of jumping on that bandwagon. Well, I'm a Chiefs fan, but I really think the referees help us out a lot. I think it's a thing where you just want to be liked by other fan bases, because it's just not true. I mean, seriously, the Chiefs lost, and then people went and found that that pick play. That was the only touchdown that went to Curtis Samuel? Went to Samuel. Yeah, I think it did. They go to that play, and they're like, oh, look, it was a pick play. Yeah, this happens every week, guys. I can find different calls from every single game that have favored either team. And whoever wins, we're not going to talk about the calls that they didn't. No, we're going to talk about the calls that favored them. So it's whatever team wins. Then we talk about the calls that favored them. There were plenty of calls in the Bengals game that went against the Chiefs. The Chiefs got one call, finally, on a blatant pass interference penalty, and everybody called the game rigged. So don't fall for these people. Don't listen to these people. They're wrong, and they're missing the big picture. It must be taken into account that the Chiefs get everybody's best game. And I don't care about how close they are, because that's how it works when you're every team's Super Bowl. And you know what it is? You got to stop listening to them. Quit listening to clowns like this Cowboys fan that I saw on my feed today.
Dak is better than Mahomes. I'm going to put my headphones on. I'm not talking to you no more. It's my opinion. Okay. Your opinion may be different. That's good.
All you can do with these guys is put your headphones on, listen to this podcast, listen to Chiefs Positive podcasts, and enjoy your day. Don't listen to these clowns who are out here trying to be negative, because the fact of the matter is they're wrong. Yes, the Chiefs are not a perfect football team, but they are as good as they were last year. Absolutely. They're just getting everyone's best shot this year. And everybody's so amped up to stop the Chiefs every single week because they want to have that job security. Of course, the Chiefs are going to play everybody close when that's the situation. It happens every time when you're the target, when you're top dog. So don't listen to these guys. Just put on your headphones. Listen to this show. Listen to other shows that have people that know what the hell they're talking about. Listen to Seren Petro. There's a reason I put his question on this show, because he's good at what he does. These people are good at what they do. Listen to those people. Don't listen to fans that tell you things like Dak Prescott is better than Patrick Mahomes, or Jalen Hurts is better than Patrick Mahomes, or Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen's having a great season. If you look at their career stats, Josh Allen needs 2 MVP seasons to even close the gap between he and Patrick Mahomes. They're not at the same level. I don't want to hear it ever again from anybody, and I don't care about what happened last week, because Josh Allen still sits at 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So, yeah, nice little regular season win. All right, now, I just can't wait. I can't wait for playoff Patrick to show up and put all these clowns in their spots, in their place at the bottom where they belong. I really can't. I need it more than I need air to breathe, man. I need to see that. And it's going to happen, I'm telling you. Now, on to the prediction. I've always said Chiefs by 100, only because the first week before the Ravens game, I said Chiefs by 100 because I think predictions are kind of ridiculous. However, I had to say it every week after that because the Chiefs kept winning. And so now I'll give you a legitimate prediction for the first time in Chiefs Chase. Chiefs 28, Panthers 12. It'll be a pretty decisive victory, and the fact is, I'm just so happy for Christmas to end for 31 other fan bases, because they have spent this whole week dancing in the streets, jumping around. Oh, the Chiefs are done. The Chiefs are done. The Chiefs are number one in the AFC. If everything ended today, the Chiefs would still be the number one seed. They would still have a bye week, and you would have to go through Arrowhead in order to get to the Super Bowl. So no, the Bills are not the new kings of the AFC. They're in second place. The Chiefs are in first place, and after they crush the Carolina Panthers, all the partying, all the dancing, all the excitement is going to be over. So soak it up, everybody, especially you Bills Mafia, because it's coming to an end now. This has been Chiefs Chase. My name is Mike Bassano. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I love doing this show. I love having you here. It means more to me than I could ever fully express to you in my entire life. Thank you. Now enjoy the game and make sure you tune in to here, same channel, right after it for the Chiefs Chase postgame show. Have a phenomenal week and enjoy the game.